Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well? Lovely. All right. My name is Tom Devasya. I run the business for Snowflake's South India market and Sri Lanka as the region, right? And it's a pleasure to be here this morning with this amazing dignitaries and audience here. I want to take this opportunity to thank Strategy Inc. for giving us, Snowflake and Altria, this dais to be here and present our story. This is actually the first time that we are here presenting a large-scale event like this. So I'm very excited. I'm keen to kind of share the whole Snowflake story here with you all. So our theme is Unleashing the Art of Possible. And the reason we say Art of Possible is, like the previous session, very insightful sessions, by the way. Venkatesh, very well moderated. I think a lot of topics came up from the digital transformation, the data transformation part of it, right? And in our view, digital transformation totally depends on a data culture, and somebody highlighted that. So building a data culture leads to digital transformation is what our understanding is. So I'm going to harp a little bit more on this. Safe harbors, there's a lot of topics which are in the roadmap, which is in the coming, so whatever you discuss, please be mindful of that as well. I will start by giving some statistics, and that obviously, adds a lot of context to what I'm alluding to. So IDC, which is the market intelligence firm, predicts in the next 2 years, that is by 2025, the world's digital data would increase by 180 zettabytes. Now, just to give you an understanding, 1 zettabyte is equal to 1 trillion gigabytes. So we're talking of humongous volumes of data in the span of next 2 years. And what they also say that half of this data is going to be stored on public clouds. So cloud is inevitable. But with the rise of application clouds like Salesforce and Workdays, and with customers adopting the public cloud, and like many of you mentioned that you are moving to the cloud, a lot of customers have started putting data on the cloud, right? So data is increasing. The complexity is increasing, and that's where our founders, about 12 years ago, realized that there is potential in building a platform like Snowflake. So the ideology of building this platform is to kind of de-silo the world's or the organization's data. Our philosophy is to mobilize the world's data, which means we are helping organization, one, is to consolidate everything into a single platform, wherein you as customers can build analytics, you can kind of leverage the power of the platform to kind of use all your data that you have in your ecosystem for the betterment of analytics. So, like I said, every organization have their own data today, what we refer as first-party data. What Snowflake is also enabling customers is to leverage second-party data, which is data that resides with your partners, with your ecosystem, with your distributors. Can you enrich your first-party data with this data so that you can have better analytics? We're taking a step ahead where we are saying there are data providers globally available who have data that can also enrich your other data, that is third-party data. So what Snowflake is trying to do is to build an ecosystem that could help you bring all this first-party, second-party, third-party data into your platform to enrich what you have today and build analytics on top of it. And that's been our Snowflake journey. Like I said, we started as a data warehouse in the cloud, but today we are a data cloud. And what you see on the screen, for some reason it's not moving, but these are live customers. These are live data movement that happen as we speak today. The dots that you see are customers, are data providers who are available on the Snowflake data cloud. And there is actually a data share that's happening on the slide, which is not visible here. But the data share is basically collaboration between providers, between customers, between their vendors and partners. So like I said, when Snowflake built this platform as a warehousing platform, we had a vision of creating data cloud. Now, what is data cloud? Data cloud is an amalgamation, is an amalgamation of the technology and the content. Now, when I say technology, it is the warehouse, it is the ability of bringing different data formats and creating a data lake. It's the ability of creating collaboration. It is the ability of helping customers build applications. That is the technology part. But what is interesting and what makes Snowflake unique is the content. Along with this technology, we are enabling customers to leverage the Snowflake marketplace for data and applications to be consumed by the customers. So in the previous slide, like I showed you, that's their ecosystem with 1,800 data providers who've listed their data on the Snowflake marketplace today. We have close to 8,000 customers globally who've listed as Snowflake customers. Each customer has the ability of accessing those data real time without the hassles of creating technical, pipelines and, movement of data and things such. So that's how we've simplified. So in a nutshell, the Snowflake Data Cloud is the technology part of it and the data content that comes together. Now, I spoke about these 8,000 customers, right? And the reason why Snowflake is adopted at this rapid scale globally is because of the architecture. I think many of people in the audience would probably understand that there was a time when you dealt with structured data, finite data sets, and that's where an on-premise, data warehouse or the Hortonworks and MapRs of the world was sufficient enough to kind of cater to your analytic requirements. As your data volume increased, as complexity increased, you needed a platform that was scalable, that was real-time, and that allowed you to ingest these different data formats. And that's when, like I said, a lot of the customers, a lot of the cloud vendors today have built a cloud platform, leveraging the on-premise architecture. And like I said, this is where Snowflake played it a little different. We built this architecture grounds up on the cloud, where we've isolated storage and compute, where we've isolated compute versus compute. A little technical, but the reason why I'm highlighting that is, this is the only reason why customers have adopted Snowflake and is termed as a self-managed platform. When we've isolated storage and compute, we've made it very simple for customers from a cost standpoint, whereas you don't have to pay if you increase the storage, you only pay for the storage part of it, and there is no dependency on the compute. This also allows customers to automatically scale up, scale down. All of that features are enabled as part of the platform, thereby you being, having a predictability of cost. That is one of the main reasons why a lot of customers have adopted Snowflake. The isolation of compute and compute helps you in terms of performance. There are large companies who need SLAs in milliseconds, and they depend on Snowflake because there is no resource contention in the backend for running those multiple data, the multiple workloads that are on the Snowflake. So the third layer that you see is the cloud services layer, and that's primarily the layer which basically makes Snowflake a self-managed platform. I'm not sure if you've heard of a company called Swiggy in India. It is the largest food delivery app in India today. They started obviously as a food delivery platform with few customers. Over a period of time, they grew. Today, they are a data company, and that's primarily because for them, it is important for them to understand at 7 a.m. in the morning which part of the city do I have to place my drivers so that I can fulfill those order requirements that come on a timely basis. Because that's their SLA, right? In 30, 35 minutes, they're supposed to deliver food to the customer. So a lot of data science model runs in the backend to understand what is the preference. For example, Tom opens the app today. What should be his preference in the morning? What should be his preference in the afternoon, in the evening? If it's a weekend, what's his preference? So there is a lot of study that happens in the backend from a user behavior standpoint. And then all of that model runs in the backend to identify where should I place this driver, how do I optimize the travel time, how do I optimize the whole delivery platform to run it efficiently. And that's what Swiggy today is. It is not a delivery platform, it is a data company today. London Stock Exchange, very interesting to hear this story, right? I'm sure you all understand London Stock Exchange, key job is a stock exchange as the name calls for. You'll be surprised to know in their investor report, in their financial report, the majority of the revenue comes from data, not from trading. So London Stock Exchange today is a data company. They've acquired a company and built a product called as Refinitiv. I'm not sure if anybody in the audience used their data, but that basically is a data company today which shares data across the world, which is listed on the Snowflake platform. The reason I'm saying all this is because companies are transforming from the legacy industry that they are to be a data company, and we are helping build that data culture. And how is this all possible? Like I said, over a period of time, organizations have started using, beyond the structured data. We are now talking to customers who are saying, hey, I've got a large factory in different parts of the world, and I want to start leveraging the IoT data. I want to start using the sensor data to kind of be more predictive and build those kind of maintenance, programs in my offering, so that I know when my system is going to go down much in advance and I can prepare it well. So the ability of not only ingesting structured, unstructured, semi-structured data, but to process that data in a timely fashion, consuming that data along with your first-party data, like I said, is where the ability of a platform lies. So the ability of bringing all that data together in one single platform is what the data cloud is all about. All users, that's the second phase. Snowflake is an SQL engine, which means people who are proficient in writing SQL codes were the first users, I would say, of the Snowflake platform. But later, we have realized, and like I said, as part of the data cloud story, we've realized there's a big set of audience, this set of users who are proficient in the data science field, right? And that's the upcoming area where a lot of developers are proficient in Java, Python, and Scala. These are languages which are unstructured. They need huge volumes of data to keep testing in the backend. They need quick fixes. And like I said, Snowflake was an SQL engine, and about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we built a UI, an interface called as Snowpark, which enabled these set of developers who are proficient in Python, Java, and Scala to run that code directly on Snowflake. And the reason is because Snowflake is a performant platform. The compute power is magnificent in terms of the SLAs that any organization is looking at. So why not leverage the power of Snowflake itself? And earlier, the way it works is the data used to move out of Snowflake, go to another environment, process all of that because it had the capability. But now we've built that. So where we're heading towards is allowing all different types of users, not just the analytics users or the BI users, but hard-code coders, hard-code developers who are proficient in different languages to run it on Snowflake itself. And finally, like I said, Snowflake is a single platform. It's a single managed platform that runs different data workloads. We all spoke about, or rather we all understand how the evolution of data has happened. Like I said, we started with a data warehouse story where we've looked at just the structured data, finite data sets to kind of create multiple reports. But as evolution happened, as we started bringing unstructured data, as we started catering to different data users, we started creating the data lakes. We started addressing customers who want to build applications. And for that, you would need data in the backend. So Instacart, for example, right, which is again the largest grocery store in the US, have built their application on Snowflake. And this happened during COVID because they were an offline model. Customers used to go to the store and buy grocery and things such. When COVID hit, they said, how do I cater to my audience? And that's when they built an app on Snowflake to cater to their online customers as well, because data resides in one single location. Again, if you look at the slide, right, the right in the center is the data cloud, or what we call as the epicenter where data resides. It hosts a single copy of data within the ecosystem, and every other workload revolves around it. For Snowflake, the philosophy is data has gravity. So everything that you do around it should reside around data, right? So what it essentially means is you have an application that's running somewhere. You should not have the data move to the application, but it should be the other way around, where the application moves to data. Today, we're all talking about generative AI. We're talking about ChatGPT and things such. Fantastic evolution of technology. We all know we will reach there at some point in time. But we also know the challenges that it has today, right? Today, you have to move data to a ChatGPT to kind of get those responses. You are compromising on your security. You're compromising on your organizational data. And which is where we are partnering with the NVIDIAs of the world. We're partnering with other technology providers to build third-party LLMs and bring it in the Snowflake ecosystem. Thereby, you reside the data there itself, but you bring those LLMs, you bring those applications to Snowflake and run everything in that ecosystem. Finally, we all understand this is incomplete without governance. All this is a good talk point if I cannot securely manage this data. We've got Capital One, which is one of the largest banks in the US, who uses Snowflake, as part of the BCP protocol, right? They have Snowflake on AWS US East on 1 month, and the next month they seamlessly switch to Snowflake on an Azure instance in US West. And this shift happens every month as part of their, BCP and DR protocols that they have. This is possible because of the governance that we stitch it. All the PI data, all the customer data shifts to a different environment, to a different cloud, to a different region seamlessly with the Snowflake's management that's happening in the back end. Finally, like I said, all of this would not be possible without our partner ecosystem. We are an element that supports the data side of the business, but there are partners who help us to bring data into the Snowflake. There are partners who help in the visualization of the outcome. So we partner with almost everyone that you see here. Like I said, the marketplace is evolving. The Snowflake marketplace started off as a data marketplace with 1,800 data providers. This June, when we had our Snowflake Summit, we announced something called as an app marketplace, right? So if you see some of the names that here, they've built their applications and have listed it on the Snowflake. So for example, Capital One again, they've built a product called a Slingshot, which is a data observability platform. They've listed on the marketplace. So any customer of Snowflake can go to the Snowflake portal, go to the marketplace, click on Get, start accessing that application real time, bring that application into your environment where your data resides, and securely run those applications for an outcome. And that's the ecosystem that we are building. So without our partner, we would not be able to build this data ecosystem, the data cloud story. So we've got a ton of partners, and Altria specifically is our partner in Sri Lanka who's helping us win and partner with a lot of customers here locally. We've made some success here, and I will talk about that as well. But this is our global customer base. Like I said, we've got 8,000 plus customers here. And the only reason they're adopting Snowflake, like I said, yes, technology-wise, we are a performant, we're a superior platform in terms of giving the SLAs and the performance that you're looking for. But it is the data collaboration, it is the marketplace story that is getting a lot of attention. Customers are coming to a platform and saying, hey, I want to use demographic data. I want to use, let's say a banking customer, I want to introduce a new product. I want to know what is the behavior of a certain age group in terms of their buying patterns. I want to understand how are certain responses from a credit standpoint. All of that data is available on Snowflake today. And without creating pipelines, like I said, you can access that data real time on the Snowflake UI. So all of these customers have leveraged the Snowflake platform for that reason. And finally, I wouldn't want to end this session without giving a live example of our first customer that we've had in Sri Lanka. Asela, who's the Chief Information Officer of Dialog, spent a lot of time on Snowflake, right? I mean, the reason they've adopted Snowflake, and he'll talk about that, is because, and I think Venkatesh mentioned this as well, it is a journey. Digital transformation or migration to cloud is a journey, and they've adopted Snowflake for multiple reasons. One is the technology part of it, but the ability of collaboration of data, the ability of helping them to kind of access their partner ecosystem, the data that is available on Snowflake, that's essentially what they want looking for Snowflake. So if I may just request if you can play the video, that'll be awesome.
Dialog is a telecommunication provider. We started off back in the 1990s. Over the last couple of years, the biggest challenge that we have seen is that the distance between the customer and the service provider has, I think, shrunk. We need to kind of respond to their needs in a much more faster and more efficient manner. Around 3 years back, we started this whole digital transformation and digitization journey. And when we were embarking on that, cloud really was something that we wanted to embrace. Why Snowflake? I think it's mainly because of the agility that it brings, the speed in which I think we were able to kind of execute our queries, and to enable that and facilitate that whole digital transformation journey. We did quite a detailed evaluation with leading data warehouse technologies that are available in the market. And we selected Snowflake over the rest, I think, primarily because of its decentralized execution framework so that queries kind of don't overlap with each other and cause failures. Of course, in addition to that, it had things like streaming capability, reverse ETL. From an administrative point of view, also it had we saw a lot of benefits because the overheads were far less. From Snowflake, there's a whole load of Tableau dashboards that are generated, and these dashboards are again mostly real time or near real time. And then on top of that, machine learning models are built for consumption. Thousands of people actually in the organization depend on these dashboards for their operation to function. When we were on-prem, disruptions were quite regular, I must say. But now I think we have turned that hurdle, and now we are in a much more better state where there is stability and people are able to make their decisions on a timely manner. If you look at ETLs, for example, before ETLs used to take 6 hours on a good day. Time to execution earlier, which was the 6-hour window, now has gone down to at least 45 minutes to 1 hour. So it's a tremendous improvement, I think, from where we were to now. And from a transaction processing perspective, we see almost a 30 to 40% gain leveraging on the analytics, the dashboards that are out there. It helps in the customer experience because the back office people who are handling customer experience as their day-to-day job, they get visibility and insights exactly what is happening. What is the customer doing? When is the customer doing? Why is the customer doing? That way they are able to kind of position and target what are the things that we can offer to the customer so that the customer will be satisfied. Whatever that we do in terms of this space has to ultimately translate into an outcome. So customer experience is one important facet. The other side of it is we need to be mindful that cost is an important thing. So how do you kind of drive efficiencies to continuously keep bringing the cost down? But especially in this whole analytics ecospace, I want to bring back the privacy aspect. So as a responsible company, we need to make sure that while we talk about customer experience, the privacy aspect has also to be brought into this. And Dialog being an innovative company, we want to use AI to be as much as possible innovative and bring innovative solutions to the customer, just like our tagline, the future today.
That's the Dialog story. We are honored to partner with them and a lot of other companies that we are in discussion today. Like I said, this is our first event that we're doing here. We intend to do this more. This was more of an introduction to what the Snowflake story has been. I'm around with my Snowflake's t-shirt around, so you can easily find me. I'm happy to speak with anybody who's keen to understand more about us. But by the time the next session that we host, we look forward to having more of you guys be a customer reference for us as well. That's a wrap from me. Thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed the session.